Peace, party people. This is Let the Record Show. I am Mike Pizzo.
My name is Warren Peace.
Today's special guest is the Foreign Exchange.
Yes, y'all. It's Phonte.
And Nicolay.
We're here in Las Vegas. What we did is we asked you guys for a list of some of your favorite songs of all time.
Right.
And you gave us a list. We hunted down everything on vinyl.
Yes.
And now we're going to play those records and let the record show. All right, so first up is A Tribe Called Quest, Electric Relaxation.
Yep.
This copy is actually signed. This is your copy, right, Warren?
Yeah, that's my copy.
Wow. Signed by A Tribe Called Quest?
Tribe Called Quest, yeah.
Oh, wow.
There it is.
Yeah,
Couldn't
in-
get any better.
In 94, yeah, right there. 94.
That's crazy.
Wow. Let me see the cover. Yeah. Wow.
That's crazy.
That's
Cop
major
that.
league shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Rest in peace, Fife Dog.
Man,
Recorded mixed by Bob Power. I actually interviewed him. That's
you did.
Bob Power, really?
Yeah, we had on Q on Quest Up Spring. We talked with him. He was a lot of fun.
And this is on your list.
Yep.
Yeah.
It could have been on. The only reason why
Yeah,
I wasn't
yeah,
on
it
mine
could've
is
been on
'cause
anybody's
it was
list.
Oh, he just beat you to it. That's
Right.
all he
Exactly.
Yeah. This I think this record in a nutshell is everything that got me started down the path that I went down, which is the mellow, jazzy,
Right.
hip hop. I think this record in a nutshell is if I have to give you the nucleus, the DNA of my sound, I could give you any Slum Village record.
Right.
I could give you a lot of stuff, but it all comes down to Electric Relaxation, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You know, just the placement of the track on the Midnight Marauders records, on the record, the loop, the sample,
Right.
how they treated it, the drums, the verses, the video.
Yeah.
All just, for me, is like just the beginning.
Yeah, and Phonte, this is obviously Tribe is, I mean, the group name Little Brother came from being like
Absolutely.
the little brother of the native tongues, essentially, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, this record was, I remember my first time hearing it, I was actually on my way from a wrestling match
Yeah.
in high school.
Oh,
It
you
was
sound
my
like the
first
intro
year.
right now.
Yeah, I was on my way from a wrestling match. I wrestled on my high school wrestling team, and my man had the tape, and he had let me hold it. And I remember listening to it, and I was like, man, this is crazy. And then you flip the tape over, and that's the first song on side two, and I was just like, oh my God, like what the fuck?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of the first times I remember just hearing a record and really just feeling like, man, how will I ever be this good?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And but just like what Nick was saying, that was the moment for me where I just heard, I was like, yo, this is what I want to be. Like this is
Exactly.
This is where I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
This is my aesthetic. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
it's the lane.
Yeah,
right
this
there.
is the lane right here. That was the record. That was it.
The thing I liked about this record, it was the one on the album that it kept the dance, because I was like the dance floor guy back then. I was a club guy. This one kept the dance floor. It had that groove, it had that feel, but it also had that underground, like it was still
Right.
hugging the underground lane.
Very
But
much.
it's
And,
still- it's
And a
still-
beautiful record, like really just the sample and stuff. I think it reminds me of They Reminisce Over You and tracks like that, where they're no longer afraid to make something that is aesthetically really pleasing.
Right.
And also just the loop, it's like in threes.
In
It's
three,
not in
yeah, that was
fours.
something
Like,
that
it's
not-
something else
yeah.
different.
Yeah.
It's a 3 bar. Well, not 3 bars, but it's a phrase that is kind of off too. So it just kind of keeps repeating, but it never sounds the same. It's really quite mysterious how they kind of get you into that track and
Nice.
just
Yeah, and the big thing about this track a couple of years ago was everyone was like, what are they saying on the hook?
Right.
And actually Questlove
Yeah.
had solved the mystery when he did like something on OK Player where they figured
Tip
it out.
was right. Relax yourself, girl. Please settle down.
Yeah.
And I still don't hear that. Truth be
Yeah.
told, like the settle down part, like I don't know how he says it. Maybe a little.
Right.
It's one of those songs like you could tell me that he's saying, "Relax yourself, girls. Please sell your dog." And like if you think that's it, you can hear "sell your dog" in it. You know what I mean? It's,
right.
Depending on what they tell you it is.
Right. And I would also argue that this song, actually, as far as Tribe Called Quest, this song has probably gotten the most spins out of any Tribe song because of the Wayans Brothers TV show,
Oh,
which
right,
they
right,
used
right.
as an intro, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, they did. And
Yeah.
then like they had to stop it. I don't know why, but then
They did?
Yeah, they had to stop. They came back with a new theme song.
Okay.
And it was the dun 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 It was like some generic shit.
Right.
But
So I mean,
it
but
wasn't.
when that show went into syndication, they probably. I mean, hopefully Tribe got paid on this. I don't
Maybe the
know.
clearance,
Yeah.
didn't work
Yeah.
out or
Yeah,
whatever.
I don't
but
know.
Yeah.
All right.
It's a gorgeous record.
Yeah.
Still, I mean, it hasn't aged a bit, if you ask me.
Nah, it really
Not
hasn't.
at all.
It really
No,
hasn't.
you're right.
All right, and this next record is Heatwave, and I forgot whose stack this came out of.
It was me. That was
Well,
me.
And
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
it could have been
Yeah.
mine.
Yeah.
And your cut was
Star of a Story. But you
Yeah.
could pick any song off that record.
man.
You pick Star of a Story, All You Do Is Dial, Central Heating, the title track.
let's play it. Let's see. Star of the Story, yeah.
Man.
And this Tribe actually sampled that record on Versus
From the Abstract. Yeah.
There it is. And Smith and Wesson sampled this too on The Shinin'.
Which joint is sample?
It's Nothing Moved But the Money. They just jacked that whole loop
Yeah.
and put some hard ass duck down drums.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, some beat miners.
Shout out to the Beat Miners. I actually
Yeah.
did a record with them not too long ago
Oh, sweet.
for the breaks that's
Nice.
coming out. So it's not, it
Yeah.
won't be my voice you're hearing, but I mean, it's on there. Yeah, man, this is it's one of my top 5 love songs of all time.
Yeah.
It's just it was a song that I had I gained a new appreciation for once trying to cover it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It didn't.
it didn't work.
You couldn't do it justice?
We didn't.
At the
well,
time, maybe not.
At the time, we couldn't. I think we could
Right.
maybe do it now, but at the
Right.
time, we was working on Connected, and we was like, "Yo, we want to have a cover," and so
You
I was like,
trying to
"Nick,
cover this?
yeah, we tried to cover this.
wow, yeah.
This is." We was like, "Yeah, let's cover Star of a Story." He was like, "All right," and so Nick did the track, and I was like, "All right, dope. This is dope." So we had a homie of mine that was gonna sing it, and he was probably technically a better singer than Johnny Wilder, who's singing lead on this, but the feel just wasn't right. And so it was one of those things where, you know, it's really about the feeling
Right.
of a song and just how someone can be technically better or a better player, better singer, whatever, but if the feel ain't there, it
Right.
really don't mean nothing. So it was a hard record to cover.
Yeah, it was kind of, we were aiming high with that one.
Yeah, we were aiming really high, and it was just like, we did it, and we were just like, you know what, dude, nah.
So
And
will
I
we
think
see
will.
this on like the Lost and Found?
Never.
Foreign
On the Lost.
Lost forever.
All copies
The
destroyed.
found.
bootlegs and B-sides, they'll never happen.
Never,
No.
never.
Because it's not, and it's all not a discussion, but a lot of that stuff, like, it's the same as the Prince vault.
Right.
There's things that are not out there for a reason.
Right.
Whether it's not finished, whether we didn't like it, whether,
We just didn't feel it was up to snuff.
Yeah,
Up to-
so, I mean, even after the fact, there's really not a point in putting that out there, showing people how it didn't work out.
Right.
right. If at first you don't succeed,
Right.
erase all evidence that you tried.
Yeah, so,
Yeah, and we should talk about these matching sweaters, these
Man,
matching Heatwave
yeah.
sweaters that everyone has
It's
on.
dope as shit.
Yeah, that was
right
some B-boy shit. That was like some kind of Force MDs, kind of like, you
Yeah.
know, that was like.
I think all the
amazing.
groups back then had like,
Yeah.
And rest in peace to Rod Temperton,
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Like,
died, what, 2
Yeah, it was-
2 weeks ago?
yeah,
last
something like
week?
that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Almost a
Yeah,
month, right?
hell of a
giant.
producer, songwriter.
Giant.
Johnny Wilder, he died like a couple years ago as well. But yeah, this was just beautiful song. Beautiful
Yeah,
song, beautiful
absolutely
production,
amazing.
and yeah, I can't say enough about it.
Nice.
Just Quiet Storm as a
Just
mother.
as quiet all the way. Yeah. Phonte, what's your deep voice with this song? Come on.
WTFE, Foreign Exchange Radio. You're now tuned to the sounds of DJ Tigolo. This is Heatwave, Star of a Story. Gonna send this one out to all the ladies tonight. All the special ladies checking the Tinder, checking your Instagram, checking your DMs. Love could be out there for you. So we're gonna get into this. This is Heatwave, and I'm your DJ, Tigolo, Star of the Story, WTFE.
For all the Burger King honeys.
Exactly.
What you done for me?
Now we have Al Green. This is the I'm Still in Love with You LP, and the track.
I'm glad you found it on vinyl. That's crazy.
Yeah, actually, this I walked into the record store and this was like sitting right on the floor.
Wow.
Like I
That's
walked
crazy.
in and it was like right there. I was like, thank you.
Man.
So the track here was
Look what you done for me.
Look What You Did. Done for me, yeah. And Al Green has like a very signature sound in the production. Like,
Yep.
you don't even need to hear his voice. It's like once you hear the track, you're like,
It's the drums, man. For me, at
Those
least.
drums, yeah, the drums and like the
all the
strings,
Yeah.
that are always kind of tinny and like a little out of pitch a little bit.
A lot of organ on it.
Yeah.
It's very it's a very distinct style. It's the snare and the tom hit for me always on all these records.
Which record? Who's?
This was mine. This was in my
okay, all right.
pick.
You can also hear that same kind of intro as
Let's Stay Together.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
You know?
Which incidentally was our first record together.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
snap.
was.
Just bringing it all back. Full
Yeah.
circle.
Yeah, that was
Damn,
one of the
homie.
first one we chopped up.
I'm just,
Yeah, I love
just
it.
tying the knots.
I love it.
Yeah, man, this was a record like I didn't appreciate until I got older. I mean, I remember my stepdad, he would play this record all the time, the Al Green album.
Yeah.
And I just remember being in the back of his car and he would play this, and this was the joint. Like, my joint on the album was Not Love and Happiness. I'm Glad You're Mine, because that
Yeah.
was the mahogany
Right.
drums. Like, that's like mahogany drums.
There's a lot of samples off that.
Yeah, it's been jacked like all the hell. Mahogany's on that record. What is it? What else jacked those drums? Dead Wrong by Biggie and Eminem.
Right.
Those drums have been jacked all over everywhere. But and then what else got jacked on here? Good to You, Simply Beautiful is Good to You by Kweli and Kanye. And then what else is on here? Love and Happiness is
Guru
God.
used that part. No. His later Guru, post Gangstar, Bitch Ass Solar era Guru. Rest in peace, Guru.
What a Wonderful Thing Love is that's Player by Big Mike. Boom 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 doom 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 doom
Big
doom.
Mike.
Player,
Yeah,
doom,
yeah,
doom,
yeah,
doom.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
It's that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But nah, man. Al is just always one of my favorite singers, and
Totally.
this is just a great song. He has a live version of this that he performs. I got it on DVD. He performed it like it was some TV show, and he does this vamp at the end. It's so fucking dope.
Nice.
He's like, ladies and gentlemen, I wanna say that I just want to take time to thank you because she gets up in the morning and makes the baby's coffee and gets the baby on his way. And I just want to say, thank you, baby. And like he does his whole thing, like saying thank you. You put love all in my feet, clap all in my hand. He does his whole thing. This shit is
I knew this would
amazing.
happen. I knew this would happen.
Put run all in my
impressions.
feet.
I knew this would
Run
happen.
all in my feet.
Okay,
Yeah.
I want to hear the "Thank You, Baby" one time.
Oh, he's like, you see, I just want to say that, because he has this look, he has like this squunched up look. He's like, I just want to say that, I want to say thank you because she gets up in the morning and makes the baby's coffee and gets the baby on his way. And I just want to say, thank you, baby. And he just, and the band, and like he got the band like right in his fucking hand, like plop, like shit is fucking dope, man.
He actually, I don't know if you heard this record he put out like 3-4 years ago. It had like Anthony Hamilton and John Legend.
Oh, yeah.
shit
That
was
was what
dope.
Amir produced that. Yeah, that shit was dope as
Yeah,
fuck.
it was
Yeah, that
good.
was-
Oh yeah, Amir did that. Yeah, that
Yeah,
shit
yeah.
was dope. I was
It
like,
was good.
damn.
It was very
He still
aesthetically
got it.
kind of in the same sort of realm as his classics.
Yeah.
Totally.
They won the Grammy. They don't win the Grammy for that record.
There's hilarious stories about him kind of recording that record.
Oh,
and,
my God.
And how he interacted with all the people involved in
Yeah.
it. Hilarious.
Yeah, he
we've
was.
heard
Yeah, the stories are
the
like.
stories are.
And all y'all motherfuckers on these goddamn computers. You need. Like it was. It
It got real.
got really. The Reverend Al.
You guys didn't bother to tell him like, yeah, we recorded our entire first album over the computer.
Well, I mean, we
Oh,
were
right.
there, but it was,
Yeah, I
we
know, I know.
probably shouldn't have.
Right.
I don't know. He would, Al Green would have frowned upon that technology.
But yeah, his process too. I remember saying like he just really would just go in and essentially freestyle. Like he would write some stuff down, but he would just
Right.
make up stuff kind of in the moment. And yeah, this dude's a genius, man. This whole album, I love it.
Send her your love with a dozen roses.
So now we have Stevie Wonder's The Secret Life of Plants LP. And this album, he actually...
I get giddy.
Yeah,
like,
I
even
can see it.
just seeing the as a kid, man, like
Yeah.
my mom had this record. What I loved was the braille, like the braille on it, and just I would right here. Oh yeah, it's all just the title of the record
What?
and everything. And I never really, as a kid, never really knew what that was. And then my mom explained, like, well, Stevie, couldn't see or can't see. And
I didn't even know that.
yeah. It's
amazing.
got like Braille on it.
Yeah, this shit's
Now,
embossed.
both of you picked this record, so
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's put it here.
We
So
picked different songs. Yeah. For me, I just always remember that record. Like, there are certain records in the Motown catalog that I could always tell, like when the artist was kind of starting to fall off,
Yeah,
when you didn't see that record in their collection. So, like, up until this point, like, every Stevie Wonder record was, you would go to any black household
Right.
and you would
Yeah.
see every Stevie Wonder record.
Because this came right off Songs
Yep.
in the Key of
It
Life.
probably comes
Right
Songs
after.
Kid Like. So you would see
Yeah.
Songs Kid Like, whatever.
Yeah.
And so then, like when I went to my aunt's house and the first time I saw this, I was like, okay, what record is this? Like I didn't even know
Right.
what it was. And it was the same way for me like that with Hear My Dear with Marvin Gaye. Like it was the record that like when you saw that, it was like, what record is this?
That's a
And
deep choice right there.
yeah, and it was just one of those things. But you listen to it now, it's like, damn, this shit was dope. But it just wasn't for its time.
yeah. And this album was actually like a soundtrack to a documentary.
The documentary's on Netflix. Have you seen it?
Yeah, you
No, I
can.
haven't seen
You
Oh,
can-
dude, it's the best watched
wild.
high.
Yeah.
Probably.
It's
Yeah.
really, and I mean, it's. I first saw it on YouTube when it kind of first, because I don't think it either didn't come out at the time,
I don't think it came out.
right,
Right.
or either way, it wasn't like widely released, and at some point it ended up on YouTube, and that's when I first saw it, and it blew my mind because as a child, I've heard this record like literally thousands of times, and.
now was this something that you had? You said that you had this in your house.
My mama had it.
Yeah.
Like my mom, has a very weird sort of record collection that like
And
doesn't.
this was Netherlands.
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
And so she would not have Songs in the Key of Life, but she would have The Secret Life of Plants. So she would always have the kind of
What would be
Dark
next?
Horse in
like
the-
what record? A Doobie Brothers record? Or
it could be a Nina
Anything.
Simone record, Neil Young or Crosby, Stills and Nash,
She had taste.
Beatles, Jimi Hendrix, like just a plethora of 60s and 70s stuff. My mom kind of stopped checking for stuff after the 70s.
Okay.
I mean,
happens.
I think that's like most of us with hip hop.
yeah,
Like,
I mean, I get
like
it.
after like 2002, it was kind of like,
Yeah.
I'm good. But nah, yeah, this was the record. I specifically chose it because "Send When You Love" specifically was the song that made me quit piano. Like I was gonna try to take piano for a while, and my teacher was like, "So, bring in a song that you want to learn." And I was like, "Any song?" She's like, "Yeah, whatever. Bring in a song." I brought that shit in. Now this was a lady that had been playing piano for like 30 years. She was like a
Right.
classical, like concert pianist, all this shit. She was like, "Okay, Phonte, I think this is a F minor 13th chord, and then it goes into this." And that was just the intro. It took her like
Right.
10 minutes, 15 minutes to figure out just the intro, and then the actual chords of the song. So I came in with like Mary Had a Little Lamb after that. I think my next choice was like Lean on Me or some shit. Let's play that. Let's play Lean on Me. But after that, I was just like, yeah, dude, and that was another thing again, like kind of with the Heatwave stuff, like covering songs, you see what's into it. Because the thing with Stevie is like, that's so genius to me is it seems simple because his melodies are so simple.
Right.
Like his melodies are very simple, very catchy. But the shit he playing up under
Chord
that,
changes are
Yeah.
ridiculous.
oh my
Yeah.
God.
Look easy.
Yeah, is a
This was
monster.
something you had in your household also. You had this record.
Yeah. I didn't have this particular record. My aunt, I think she had this record, and I remember it's one of the few times I can remember as a kid, like seeing my mom and dad like together. I remember being a kid, sitting in the back seat of the car. My mom and my dad were in the front seat talking, and that song was on the radio. And that's like one of the few memories I have as a kid of my parents being together.
And we have "A Seed's a Star," which was your selection.
Yeah. It's what I think the record. One of the things that I think like I credit this album is my love for synthesizers and just my fascination
Right.
for, especially I think Stevie at that point was such a pioneer.
Really ahead of the game.
I just heard all these sounds, and as a kid, you don't know what that is.
Right,
You just
right.
know, like, oh wow, it sounds amazing. And
Right.
now, getting into music and figuring out like what Moog keyboards are
Right.
and Yamaha and stuff like that, and you learn like, okay, what did he use and what he had stuff built for him and everything. So, But a lot of these sounds at the time, they just seemed like they were different than just a guitar or like a piano. It's just all kind of otherworldly
Right.
stuff, you know what I'm saying? And he had vocoders on there, and you know, just it's just kind of like this record in a nutshell is just like a world in itself. You know, there's a lot of different stuff on it. Black Orchid is on there, great
Black
song.
Orchid.
Yeah.
Come Back as a Flower.
Flower.
I mean, it's Stevie
Outside
classics.
My Window.
Yeah,
it was a dope record. It just wasn't really, I guess, coming off of Songs in the Key of Life. I
Right.
mean, what do you follow that up with?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You can't do
And it was all because
It
it's
might
kind
be
of
the Love Sexy of Stevie
yeah.
Wonder's career,
Yeah.
or maybe even
the loves or the
man, depending on what you think. But like it was definitely kind of. I think a lot of people at the time were disappointed
Right.
about it, but I think for me personally, I feel it's a more well-rounded album than Songs in the Key of Life. Maybe because it is a concept record.
yeah, it's very
Right.
singular.
But it's very focused, and I mean, this track is just crazy. It
Yeah.
kills it. Yeah.
I can't help it if I wanted to. I wouldn't help it even if I could. I can't help
All right, so now we have like the greatest album ever,
Man.
arguably. I mean, this is at least top 5 albums of all time, wouldn't you say? Michael Jackson off the wall.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Of all time. All time is a long
A
time.
lot of people's
Yeah.
lists have Thriller above this, but I
Nah.
Yeah.
agree.
I think
I agree
this
with
is
you.
Off the
Yeah.
wall.
I agree with you.
And
That whole A-B analogy, this is one B-A. Like,
Right,
you know,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly.
It's
And-
just, you can't really compare the two for one. I mean, it's like comparing Low End Theory and Midnight Marauders.
Bingo.
It's like,
Yes. Yeah.
It's a matter of preference. It's so
a-
subjective.
Yeah, it's a
Like,
taste thing. And
But
it's
both
just like,
of them are great.
but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
And I Can't Help It, which was your track.
Yeah, yeah,
Right?
I-
And
I'll
that
pick that
actually, Stevie Wonder wrote that, right?
Yeah, Stevie wrote it. Stevie and Susie Green.
Yeah.
I think Stevie wrote the music, and I think Susie Green might have wrote the lyrics or co-wrote the lyrics. But yeah, this is like actually one of the few times that they hooked up, and it was actually dope because their other collabs were not good.
You talking about Stevie and
Stevie and Michael,
Oh,
because
yeah,
they did Get It off of which was on
Get it.
Get It. So you don't even remember the song.
No, I don't.
Get It. It was on. Get It was on.
Even though I was like, yeah.
God, Get It was on the Characters album, the Stevie Wonder Characters album. It was an album from '87. It was like the single was Skeletons. Skeletons in your closet. That was the single.
Okay.
And yeah, actually Get
I'm
It
not
was
even
the
up
song
on
on
that.
that. Yeah, it was.
So did they have another collab?
They had another jam. They did Just Good Friends on Bad. On Bad, on Michael Jackson Bad album. It was
You
the
know-
last song on side 1.
You know it had to be a bad collab if it wasn't a lead or second or even third single.
Right.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Just
put
Good
those guys
Friends
together.
and Get It. Those were not good. But this one, they got it right. And
But this,
was
I mean,
just-
obviously, like, we say this is arguably a perfect album. Like, why is this your track?
I mean, it's just a perfect song.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
it's just so. I mean, God. You know what I mean? I mean, even to the point where it's like. To me, it's a great example of like things, the difference between being correct and being right.
Mm-hmm.
So the last verse of this song, like the kind of ad libs that he's doing, he's singing them in the wrong key.
Right.
Like you can go, I can't help it if I wanted to. Like it's technically wrong.
Right.
But that shit is right. You know what I'm saying? Like it can't be.
Is that really? Yeah.
Go
cool.
to the end. Like he's
That's
like.
fascinating.
Like it's technically again wrong, but that shit is fucking dope.
Feels good. Right.
Yeah.
right.
So, but nah, man,
Yeah.
just perfect song. Like really understated, cool production, beautiful changes.
An extension of what Pizzo was saying. Like, there's this album is loaded with hits.
Right.
Yeah.
Loaded with unbelievable songs. And again, like the previous albums, you pick almost the slow song of the album. So my question was, did you always gravitate to more melodic and a slow and more of a feel song versus, girl, get up and dance?
Right. Well, I mean, I guess for me the thing was, I just always went where other people weren't going. So like, you don't stop till you get enough, and
Work It
I mean,
All
there's
Night.
work it like
Yeah.
that shit was
The Wall.
everywhere. Like we
Yeah,
was
yeah.
always dancing to that. It was
Right.
every family reunion.
Yeah.
Like that was, you know what I mean? Like those records were just, I mean, they were everywhere.
Yeah.
So it wasn't until I got older when I actually went past,
Right.
the
Right. I hear
hits.
you.
Right,
And I
right.
was like, oh shit, what is this?
Yeah.
And and then like when De La sampled it on Break of Dawn.
Yeah.
and mixed it with the smoky. I was
Perfect.
like, oh my God.
Sampling
Like,
perfection. Yeah.
ah.
Really dope.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all assholes for this shit.
Yeah.
But that shit was so dope.
Yeah.
Condition of the heart.
When you sick, I was gonna pick Tambourine off of that, but I was like, you already had. You know what? Yeah.
Yeah, you do go deep in our Tambourine.
This is
That's a hot one, but
This is
they're
Prince Around the
this
World
is
in a
just
Day.
A really
This is-
good album.
And this was a good example when I was talking about A and B. Like this was after
After Purple Rain.
Purple Rain.
Yeah.
And it came like what? A month after. Like he was high on Purple Rain.
Yeah, he
and
did.
then,
He
boom,
actually
put
did
this
most
out.
of it before they even
Yeah.
embarked on the Purple
didn't
Rain
know that,
tour.
yeah.
like,
Yeah,
and
Ray
most
Parker
of it-
Jr. said the same thing.
And so it's essentially something that he had kind of up his sleeve, and because you got to imagine, and that's me and Tay have talked about this in the past before. His heyday, if you will,
Yeah.
he did Purple Rain, had this album kind of up his sleeve.
Yep.
And once he came off of the Purple Rain tour, was already working on Parade like a month later.
Right.
So in the span, and that's not even counting, the Family album, The Time,
None of that.
Sheila E,
Sheila E. Yeah.
Madhouse.
Apollonia,
And what was
Yeah.
your cut on this one?
Condition of the Heart.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
we may, I mean, it might be
Yeah.
a little emotional.
Let's try to keep it together, everyone.
I think this is
Yeah.
a great time to point out your shirt to everyone too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still got a hard time with it, man. I'll be very honest with you.
All right, all
Like
right.
I still.
Yeah.
And this track before he died, like, was already kind of. This is to me is like a real sort of. Like when I first listened to it, I just imagine him because this is all him. It's one of those
Right.
records that is
Yeah.
all Prince, and the way the record builds up, it's him and the piano, just these sound effects, and I just always imagine him doing it alone. Just sitting somewhere in the studio. It's Sunset Sound, I think, in Hollywood. And I just imagine him just sitting there doing this stuff. And I think it's one of those tracks where, especially coming after the Purple Rain tour, where everything was just wild and crazy
Right.
and just
Right.
100 people on stage. And this is just that moment. And later, Sometimes It Snows in April is another example.
yeah,
But
that
just
was a tough-
a record where he kind of just breaks it all down and really kind of goes for that gut moment. And I think this is a track that there's a lot in it that even going back to it and re-listening to it, like there's new stuff that pops
Right.
up to me all the time. The lyrics are really good. It's just his delivery, man. It's just
It's a very
like,
Yeah.
personal record for
cuts you
him.
to the
Yeah.
core.
Yeah, I have to admit, this was the record I used to skip on this. joint.
This is a deeper cut. This
It
is
was
definitely
like-
a deeper
I would-
cut.
my
I mean,
uncle-
Well, it could be a little bit of a downer.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not-
exactly. It's like my uncle had this album. He had the
Right.
tape, and so
and
I
it
would
takes
go.
a while to
It takes a while to get going.
get going.
This was the one where you like went in the shower, you took the shower, but when you came out, you were like, oh,
It's still going.
It's the same song.
I think it just shows his genius, man. Like just the feeling and the passion and the fact that he could do that on his own. It's just, to me, still to this day, is just something that I can only strive for.
Right.
And never possibly ever reach. You know,
Yeah,
what I'm
it's
saying?
just
Which is
amazing.
probably right.
They say I got brains, but they ain't doing me no good. I wish
All right. Now we have the Beach
The fact
Boys.
you found that shit on
Pet
vinyl.
Sounds.
Yeah,
Here we
man.
go.
Yeah, and this album, basically, when Brian Wilson heard Beatles' Rubber Soul, he was like, he got super obsessive. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna blow that out of the water.
Yep.
And then he
he
created
kind
Pet
of
Sounds.
did. I mean,
Yeah.
depending on what you believe, like, but it was an ongoing thing because then they did Sgt. Pepper's and he did Smile and
Yeah.
Lost His Mind.
Yeah.
And lost his mind. That record just dropped like a few years ago.
Right. It literally did. Took him 50 years to finish that shit.
Actually,
Just
That
to show
shit
you how shook he was.
The
like,
original Detox. Like, it's
Right.
he
Smile.
Yeah.
I want to read this selection from Q Point actually, and this is Charles J. Moss did a thing about Revolver and Brian Wilson and Beach
Yeah.
Boys and Beatles and listen to what he wrote. He says, in 1966, neared its end, the group began work on Strawberry Fields Forever, a song written by Lennon that would guide the band's musical direction in the coming year. In 1967, when Brian Wilson first heard the song, he pulled over his car, broke down in tears, and said, "They got there first."
Aw.
Then, later that year, after hearing the Beatles' next album, Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, he had a nervous breakdown.
Yeah.
Damn.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, but how real is that?
Yeah.
That somebody with his talent
Yeah.
Right.
Can hear that.
can
and be
still
like,
be like
Right.
trumped in his mind or even in the minds
say
of
Trump.
others.
Don't say Trump.
My bad. My bad.
Let's say Trump.
My bad.
We just got to take that
We
word
can
out
just
of our
cut that out. Edit that out. But and I could have picked literally each and every track on this album.
What was your cut again?
I chose I Just Wasn't Made for These Times.
Yeah.
It's a lot of this record, man, is really in terms of sound and instrumentation.
Yeah.
And just how he formed the three-dimensional image of the sound, knowing that he was actually deaf in one ear and couldn't really hear everything going on the way that he really did. But he was one of the first to use electric bass and acoustic bass at the same time.
Yeah.
He would have 4 or 5 guitarists do the same riff in unison. He would have crazy percussion
Right.
instruments. And this is in a time where you can't load the plug-in.
Right.
And you have all this, like, he needed people.
And you had a limited number of tracks too.
Right.
Like it wasn't like you had, crazy amount of tracks.
And so
to get
this
all
is
stuff
in the
down.
time where they had the Wrecking Crew in L.A., which was the group of musicians. This is not really the Beach Boys. It's Brian Wilson and the Wrecking Crew and the Beach Boys singing. Because at that time, the Beach Boys no longer played on their own records. 'Cause
Right.
Brian wanted more and more and more. And so this is 20, 25 people playing. And I think this is as perfect as an album. Like, if you want to talk about a perfect album, I don't think they get more perfect than this, man. Like, just the vision, the lyrics. I think he's called it like a teenage symphony or something like that, if I recall properly. But it's kind of very angsty. The record.
Right.
A lot of just like, even this track, I Just Wasn't Made for These Times.
Right. No, that encapsulates the entire concept of the whole what he was going through.
Yeah.
And like his whole creative process at that time, because even what the Beach Boys were doing prior was Surfing USA and all these like kind of cheesy California Girls type records.
Yep.
So when this came along, like that was a statement that he's
it's
saying.
another
like,
record that people weren't, like, his own band members weren't
Right,
fucking with it.
right.
Like Mike Love, famously, he's the tall,
The lead singer.
He
Yeah.
famously just hated the
Right.
record, hated everything about it because he thought it was like a lot of hippie bullshit.
Right,
and
right.
Yeah.
He didn't understand the lyrics. And
Right.
he wasn't feeling it. He wanted more like Help Me Rhonda.
Right,
and
right.
Immediate.
Surfing
Yeah,
USA.
because that
Yeah.
was money, in the bank, and
Right.
Tommy
it
Boy
didn't
wanted
really even
another
sell
Fino.
as well when it came out.
Yeah. But then it went. Actually, Rolling Stone calls this the number 2 album of all time.
What is the number one?
I don't actually remember, but I do remember this is number 2. So it's
Yeah.
pretty amazing though, because a
what
lot of
was
times
number one. Now I'm curious.
I think
Yeah.
it was
like Nevermind or something.
Beat
shit?
Revolver.
it might be Revolver.
I think
Yeah,
it was Revolver.
yeah, I think it's
Revolver's
Revolver.
good,
But
yeah.
I think it was Revolver.
but I mean,
It time proved, I think,
Right.
what it was.
right.
And he, I think he really at that point had already made the decision. Like, he was already on his own trip. Like,
Right.
he had stopped touring. He
Literally
didn't-
on his own. Shit.
Yeah, like,
Yeah.
literally.
Yeah.
He was no longer touring with them, and so there was already kind of a rift. You
Right.
know what I mean? And so this was kind of the last hurrah, I think, of Brian Wilson before he literally succumbed to, his desire to keep wanting to one-up himself and the Beatles. And
Right.
The Smile Story is, people may not or may know it, but he literally went crazy.
Right.
Right.
Like,
The sky is blue, it's beautiful, and so will you be through.
This is another incredible album, top to bottom. I mean,
yeah, it's a weird album too, man.
Yeah.
It's
I-
very uneven.
your cut was Dear Prudence.
Yep.
Yeah. My cut is Obladi Oblada.
Oh, that we can't see eye to eye on that one at all.
No, because you know why? That's a club banger.
Really?
Yes, you can play that at like a wedding and people will lose their shit.
It's the
Yeah.
Paul McCartney side that John Lennon hated.
Right.
It's Obladi Oblada and like Maxwell's Silverhammer and stuff like that. Like,
I mean, I'm speaking from like a DJ perspective.
No, I get
of
it.
Like, okay, I want to rock the party. at
Dear
this moment,
Prudence, I
but-
think, is evidence of the fact that Paul McCartney was one of the best bass players ever.
Yeah.
And
Really?
people don't really name him if you talk about bass players,
Right, right.
but like, when he gets into that, like, like, just how it starts is incredible.
Yeah.
You know, but like when he gets in that doom, 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 like that bass line is brilliant. It's brilliant.
Yeah, and this song, you know the history of this song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it was all when they were in India and
Yeah.
and the Maharishi or whatever. I don't know if it was a Maharishi, but even I think Prudence was the sister of Mia Farrow.
Right.
And she
got obsessed
She got
with
ob-
meditation.
right,
And like
and they were
yeah.
trying to get her out the room,
Right.
literally. Right?
And that's like literally what the song's about. Like,
Well,
please
won't you
come
out
outside.
and play?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Dear Prudence,
Right.
yeah.
Amazing.
The sun is out, the sky is blue.
Right.
Yeah.
Just chill on the meditation for a second. Like really though.
Which
Just
is
come
funny,
out,
right?
just-
The
right.
Beatles telling somebody to chill on the meditation
Right.
is in itself very ironic.
I mean, like, we're all for this shit, but like, you just need to come
Come
outside.
on, man. Yeah.
Marvelous.
And then finally, at the top of Phonte's list was
Yes,
Wow.
indeed.
Billy Crystal. You look marvelous. Like when he sent the email, it was like all caps. Like, we must have this record. I'm
This
not
is true.
doing the show if you don't have this.
You're looking marvelous.
So, you know.
Marvelous.
Fernand, I'm really showing my age with this.
Remember,
I don't
it's
think,
better to look good than to feel.
I've never
I mean,
even
feel
seen
good.
this album. Like,
Yo, you don't remember this record,
I
dude?
don't, not at all.
Oh my God!
You remember the Saturday Night Live skits? At
It
all?
was a skit.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
He
a-
played this guy named Fernando,
Shit went too far.
and it went. Yeah, this was the Atari 2600
Right.
of the 80s.
Exactly.
Like it just
Yeah.
was a joke that went too
Right.
far.
Yeah.
This shit should be on the radio,
Yeah.
bro.
It's never popped back home, I guess.
Yeah, this is produced by Arthur Baker,
Oh
Who
shit!
produced
Breaker's
Planet Rock.
Revenge. Wow.
which is amazing.
Arthur
You know.
needed some rent money. So,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So with that, we're gonna take it out of here. With You Look
I
Marvelous.
had no idea, bro.
Yeah, I thought you would know this.
I had
dude.
no idea.
Yeah, Billy Crystal.
Do you
Yeah.
have your quick imitation of?
I don't. I mean, you look marvelous, darling. His name was Fernando. I mean, this dude, you gotta imagine. This is what 85.
Yeah.
What is this 85?
Let me see. Yep.
It was 85.
Spot on. 85.
I was 6. So I.
That was. I mean, but that was the whole. I mean, he had Saturday Night Live. That was.
He was
his
the
show.
man. He had it on live.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was his show for them.
But actually, the truth be told, Phonte did not request this record. I just found it in a dollar bin. I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna do that one. You know. And
It's
then
actually 2 for $1.
there's actually a dub version if you want to rap over it yourself. you want to go in the mirror.
Dude, let
and-
me see that shit.
Yeah, you know, you just want to go in the mirror and, you know, to get your Star Search on.
Mixed by Tom Lord Algie.
Are you serious?
Like they put money behind this
Right,
shit.
they really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
All right, this is Let the Record Show. I'm Mike Pizzo.
That was good,
War and
man.
Peace.
Fontigolo,
Nicolay,
Foreign Exchange.
in your area.
And we're
you
out.
look marvelous.
You look marvelous. You stole my line. I was
Marvelous.
All right, peace party, people.
Good.
Oh man.